So I decided to make my own little pucks. Version 1 was good, but version 2 will be better. Hey, it's Ben with the DIY Homefront. I hope you enjoyed those clips. Stay tuned, I'll show you some more. So when I decided to start making videos, I gathered all my camera equipment up in the house to see what I had to start with. And this camera stand is one of them. But what I didn't have was any of the devices that actually lock into it. And I wasn't sure the exact measurements when I started looking online. They were like 20 bucks, but they were all different sizes. And I didn't want to spend 20 bucks and get one that wouldn't fit. So I decided to make my own little pucks. And what I could find is I could find the little screws that do. And I spent 6 bucks and got 5 of them. Which is great, because then I wouldn't have to be taking these off the camera. You know, if I put one on something, I could leave it on something and just move it around. Unfortunately, what I didn't do when I designed it is I didn't take into account the shape. So the puck is cool. Camera screws onto it. All that works fine. It locks into the camera stand. So what I can't do is I can't seem to get to the holders of the screw to turn it. It's in too deep. I can't get to a shake. So just like everything we do, version 1 was good, but version 2 will be better. So next couple of days I'll be working on that and filming it as we go. All right, it's time for me to do a little bit more work on my, I don't know what you call these things. Camera ties, camera. Anyway, it's time to do some more work on these. So I'm going to use this piece of sandy ply, and I'm going to end up making it 2 layers thick by gluing it together. One layer will be the bottom, and I will put a nice big hole in that. And I will end up using that drill bit to do it. So let me make 5 pieces with 5 holes. A little too long. Now make it easier to work with. So the strip needs to be a little over 1 5/8. 5/8 did it. 1 5/8 did it. Pencil line. That's probably how thick it's going to need to be. I will use the hole for the router. There's one hole. There's 2 holes. Next thing to do would be to cut our piece of wood. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my measure and I'm going to mark off all those marks where I measured. Okay, I'm going to put this in, slides back and forth, and I'll use it as a may to cut my pieces off and to stay away from the saw. All right, now I have these pieces. I'm going to give them a quick sand. There we go, there's 5 right there. The next thing to do would be to put these in here and make sure they can fit, that they get clamped down. That would be the next. I'm going to sand those till they fit in here. So right now the ends aren't beveled, and because of that it's not going to slip into the mount, the tripod mount. So I'm going to sand some off, and I'm just going to do it with a sander. There we go, a bevel. Okay, we can see how that's been sanded down. So let's see if it fits. The bevel will let it slide down under there, and it's held in place. And that's what I'm after. Now I'm going to cut some squares out of this, which will be the very top of it. The next thing to do is to glue the piece on top of that. So I will glue this on top. That's our next goal, is to glue those two pieces together. Okay, we've got 5 circles with holes, and we've got 5 pieces to glue on top. And the glue needs to be wet for it to work, so let's wet these puppies up. A bummer, I got a crack in the bottom when I dropped it. The surfaces are wet, and it's more than enough glue. Move it all around. Get it lined up the best we can. Then I'm just going to clamp it together. There we go. Clamped together. That needs to dry for a while, and then we can sand it back again. There's one together. And last but not least, this is going to be 5 together. Next thing to do is to clean up my mess. Mineral spirits, like I said, is about the only thing that gets this stuff up. Not sure what to do about this one. I dropped it and put a little tiny crack in the bottom. Alright, for the moment, that's all I can do on the little pieces for the camera. Those will have to dry, and I'll have to sand them again and then go from there. Alright, it's been a couple hours. Looks like everything's dried up, so I'm going to start sanding these things. Okay, I've got it pretty well sanded. Now I need to do the last little bit by hand. Alright, it has dried up. Glue has dried. And now you can see the sections that we need to sand. not going to be able to get the groove right, so I'm going to have to use the sandpaper here to do that. But that polyurethane glue, it sands right off without too much fuss. And you can see it comes right off, the polyurethane glue. And that's our profile we're after. Now I've got some 40 grit sandpaper to no more glue right there. That's what I'm after. There we go. A little circle so I can put it in there and get the edges of that sort of cleaned up. Let's try the small flathead. Yep. See what I mean about that? The glue just comes right out. I'm gonna take this and just get in there and clean it up real quick. I sure hope this solves my problem. So I have found with paint, the best thing to do is put a couple of layers of flat on, because the flat dries real quick, and then you can go back with gloss. If you do gloss to start off with, you're gonna have to wait a lot longer in between coats for the paint to dry. One reason why it's so important to paint is because the paint actually will seal up the wood and get into the little cracks, especially on plywood or veneers. The paint will actually bond the wood together. Can't see them anymore, they're all black. But we'll give that a few minutes to dry and then we'll come back and hit them again. In the meantime, I'm going to do what I always do, which is to clean up as I go. So I'm going to put the table saw and everything else away. It's time to do another step on the camera holders. This time it's going to be putting the metal screw through the wooden base. This was the first version. I might have already showed this, I don't know, but this is version 1. Version 1 was a 3/4 inch block of birch plywood with a deep hole in the bottom of it. These are 2 pieces of 1/4 inch put together. Should make it a whole lot easier to get to this, to turn it, which is what we're after. So I need to drill some holes through them, and I'm going to use my small drill bits. I know the hole that's in this works just fine, so I'm probably after the same drill bit, which looks like that's it. Here we have the drill. I did that over the trash can, but I can do another one. see the threads are a lot wider than the part underneath, so if I can just get it to go through. See if we can find one that's a little bit bigger. Bit 2. Where's the little thing at? Probably shouldn't be drilling towards my fingers, but slow and steady. Try an old trick. Check out that trick. Make it easier if I get leverage to turn this. Oh, that's it there. That is definitely it. Now I can reach that and turn it by hand and not struggle. That is a total win. And it takes up a lot less space. Time to drill the rest of the holes. Go. Guess I shouldn't do that. I'm drilling into my hand just a little bit on the end. Should do this is what I should do. This is that great kit I was talking about. It's got all the bits. Here's 2 done. 3 new pieces of pure joy. I guess now it's time for the big reveal. So that's the camera mount. And that just slips in one side and it's held in place. Pretty cool, huh? And then I never could get in there to screw that loose. So when I put it on, I tightened it up and then I couldn't get it And to be honest, when it's on the mount, you really need it centered because the mount works in a specific way. So if it's not centered right, the camera's off, the angle's off. But with these, dun, 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 I can screw it on, I can put it where I want it. And now I can turn it by hand. Check that out. It's the first time I noticed a little notch in it. See where that goes. Take this outside. Okay, I guess I could be on camera, but I'll use my hands. Wow, thanks. Look, a wound, that's always good. That's why you don't drill into your hand. Anyway, here we go. 4 of them. Job is done. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate you tuning in and watching. Please like and subscribe.